Hi my friends, welcome back to the Sussex Daily News channel. This video we give you some breaking news about Meghan's lawsuit with UK tabloids. Meghan Markle runs the risk of humiliating lose and incurring huge costs. Early today, according to the sources, Meghan Markle received a couple of sore slaps when official. A 10-day trial is due to start on January 11th, with Meghan Markle's own legal costs predicted to be £1.8 million, and the High Court accused Meghan Markle discussed the contents of a letter to her estranged father with the Kensington Palace communications team before she sent it, because she was considering using it as part of a media strategy. Specifically, Meghan has accused of extensively collaborating with the authors of explosive royal biography, Finding Freedom. She allegedly helped the writers acquire a great deal of detailed information about her private life with the Duke of Sussex. The claims were made during her high-stakes privacy battle against the Mail on Sunday newspaper for publishing extracts of a letter she sent her estranged father, Thomas Markle. The publisher lawyers said it was difficult to see how she could complain about that, if she and Harry had helped with Finding Freedom, which exposed their private thoughts and feelings. At a preliminary hearing, Anthony White, QC, said in written submissions, the biography gives every appearance of having been written with their extensive cooperation. The newspaper alleged Meghan, either directly or through friends, allowed the bombshell book to use intimate details to paint a favorable picture of her life. He added that Meghan has previously stated she had disclosed the contents of the letter to Kensington Palace communications team, and she was also stated that she discussed it with them prior to it being sent. Alexandra Marzek, also representing the paper, told the court the Duchess was using her friends as effectively PR agents to influence the media in the months before the letter was sent to Mr. Markle in 2018. Ms. Marzek said Meghan had been spoken to her friend, Jessica Mulroney, and asked her to intervene to attempt to influence what her former commercial advisor Gina Nelthorpe-Cowne said to the press. A source said that there is an overdose of trivial information as well as the more highly continuous information. It is as if Meghan Markle gave the authors of the book a copy of Meghan's very personal diaries. Certain information relates to instances where only Meghan Markle and or Prince Harry were with other senior royals, and those senior royals are unlikely to have voiced the information outside of a very trusted circle of family and senior aides. Those senior aides would be willing to defend their bosses with their lives. Meghan Markle is not innocent in this case. Meanwhile, there is a blind circulating in the States that she is filming a doc about this legal battle, and if she wins, she will be a victor and a saint. If she loses, she is turning on the friends and the royal family for selling her out and make herself a classic narcissistic victim. This is one of the shows she wants to sell to Netflix. Rumors are this attorney, who she recently fired, told her she is losing this case, will lose it. The Mail on Sunday has proof of collusion and lies and had strong words about this documentary. Clearly, it's absolutely typical of her to deny having anything to do with it. Plausible deniability is burnt into the narcissistic playbook. As soon as it was obvious that it had backfired and made them look even worse than before, she distanced them from it as quickly as she could. We had been told months before by Scobie himself that there had been extensive cooperation, so is he a liar or is she? Indeed, although Omid Scobie insisted that he has spoken to both the Duke and Duchess on occasions in the past in his role as a royal correspondent, but never about the book. However, Mr. White, QC, challenged that assertion and said that he wanted to test Mr. Scobie's evidence in cross-examination when the full trial takes place next year. He argued that the newspaper should now be allowed to file an amendment to its defense because the book contains descriptions of her relationship and communication with her father, with her approval. He said that Meghan had caused or permitted information to be provided to the authors and cooperated with them, including by giving or permitting them to be given information about the letter. Master Francesca Cai, sitting at the High Court, is also being asked to rule on cost budgets for the case, which also left the two sides at loggerheads. Meghan is claiming cost of an estimated £1.8 million, which is being disputed by A&L as being too high. The combined cost for both parties is estimated to be around £3 million. What a waste of money. We all have seen the letter. The damage was done the moment she wrote it and told their friends about it, wanting them to leak just the parts she wanted to be leaked, thinking it would show her as a wonderful, caring daughter. The problem arose when he then showed the full letter, trying to defend himself as it showed how unkind she really is. Meanwhile, according to an anonymous source, it's hard to imagine sinking to the level where you would plot and scheme a written work of fiction to send to your own father, who she claimed to have loved, showing and discussing this with communications teams and various strangers in order to roll out a complimentary media campaign for herself. How could you do that and not feel the slightest bit of remorse or shame? Your own father, set up, used, and discarded. Mr. Phil Damper explains, the problem she has is that her friends first referred to the private and confidential letter in a widely circulated magazine, stating it was a conciliatory letter. Her father, understandably, felt this briefing of the press against him was a betrayal, so allowed publication of further parts of the letter as evidence of his version of events. She first leaked the letter via her friends. If they leaked it without her permission, it's her friends she would sue. He added, same with the book. If she values her privacy and did not authorize it or provide private and personal information, then she would sue the authors. She seems to be under the impression that she can orchestrate whatever information she does and doesn't want to be said about her, to an almost narcissistic level of control. Trouble is, she isn't very good at it, and the people she uses as part of her propaganda machine are especially not very good at it. At the end of the day, it all leaves a very unpleasant impression of a graceless, vain, and manipulative woman. But, expressing an opinion on Meghan's ungratefulness, he said, I'm still a bit confused about this whole letter issue. Her letter was sent to Thomas, who then shared the contents with the defendant. Being that she gave the letter to Thomas, why isn't he free to do whatever he wants with it? It's his property, right? And I also still cannot understand how she can be so cruel and cold to use a letter she sends to her father, who looked after her very well while she was growing up, as a media strategy. For me, I think that the private and confidential handwritten letter would never have been published had she not referred to the letter in her spiteful attack on her father, and her father found it necessary to produce the letter in his defense to prove she was lying. It was also her that had told her 5 friends all about the alleged content of the letter. And now we hear that she discussed the contents of the private confidential letter with palace spin doctors before sending it as part of a media strategy. So to now claim that she expected the letter to be confidential is ridiculous, especially when Funding Freedom book has exposed much more private and confidential information on both her and Harry and the whole royal family. This is totally vexatious litigation that should be thrown out of court, and she pay all legal costs of both parties. And you, what do you think about her? Please discuss this with us in the comments section. And don't forget to like and share my video for anyone you think they also loved it like you. Besides that, please subscribe to the Sussex Daily News team to not miss any new video in the future. Now have a nice day and see you in the interesting next videos.